It's a 30-minute music hour. I'm Andy Moore from Beloit, Wisconsin. Rod, D's, and weapons of mass dysfunction.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to what is life. We're fighting for a change, ladies and gentlemen. The change starts now. It starts with you. It starts with us. Yo, yo, yo. There comes a moment you gon' stand up or lay down while we walking victory into these steps is heaven bound. Moments in life can leave you on pros. Back in my hometown, General Motors just closed. Now all these folks in this economic crunch. Why it makes me glad that I never had much. All on the table when we making a deal. The dream is to connect, show the world how to feel. Some even say that that's part of the appeal. Open up a heart that was once this cold as steel. While we stand on it, be a grown man on it. Living by the motto, that's the way that God wanted. Take the tears inside, continue to ride. Know somehow it's a destiny to provide. So we get up, get out, get my piece of the pie. Know that the days cannot pass by.
Oh, give it just another day.
Another day, another day.
Oh, give it just another day.
Another day, another day.
Oh, give it just another day.
Another day, another day. Oh. Listen. Yo, these verses here are dedicated to the have-nots. Had a strength to carry on, dealing with the A-guys. Now we're trying to deal with the plights of the get-rights. God bless the child has got his own under streetlights. Now we break it down for the nightly news highlights. Those up in heaven with their name up in bright lights. Cause in every studio sessions, like fight nights, wanna race through the race, reach out for new heights. Wanna break it down, hopefully they get a chance up. Something that they hear, make them wanna pull their pants up. Believe in goals, never give a stance up. And now they want it, we wanna give a chance up. They want the truth, so we give it straight to them. Live for the God that we see shining through them. It's like that, there's so much to say. Another day, oh.
Give it just another day.
Another day, another day, oh.
Give it just
Another day, oh.
Give it just
Another day, oh. Listen. We break it down cause there's no more excuses. How it should be cause the most high should choose is. Gotta walk the walk instead of talking the talk. For the tablets and stoning bodies written in chalk. I'm writing for my grandmother, help me play a part in living out a dream that was smoking up my Martin. Break it down till it's humble abodes. Mississippi to the north, make it humble abodes. I'm a blue collar baby in the water so crazy. Playing Sam Cooke, change is gonna come lately. Right to touch the roots like that, I'm Mr. Ailey. Poetry, emotions like Steph, I'm Mr. Ailey. Searching for the reasons like White and Mr. Bailey. Determined that we gotta make history on a daily. It's like that, there's so much to say. Another day, oh.
Give it just
Another day, oh.
Give it just
Another day, oh.
Give it just
Another day, oh. Listen, oh. It's a new day, 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 it's a new day. Oh. It's a new day, it's a new day, ladies and gentlemen. My life is artwork, you might not understand this. The way that I spit it like putting strokes on the canvas. Taking notes of all the urban cries. Put it down, materialize, then watch as the paint dries. Better bet the ink, cause every time I think it's time to keep it flow while these other cats sing. No Titanic, too over dramatic. I feel like new edition in the brain now. Tell me, can you stand it? With each word I'm building me a steeple. And if you open my works up, there you'll find my cathedral. You got your wood stains, a little glass paint, but it all tell a story, man. Think that it can't. Where I come from, it's deer hunters and street guns. So I spray these words like the Uzi weighs a ton. It's that heavy. I'm pouring this out from my heart to give you the truth the way that you see it. art. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything they spit is just like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life's artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life's artwork. My description, better yet my mission is to visualize and give the world vision. Work to heal the streets with a little audio heat. It's moving all out over laid back beats. A to the R to the T, Wisco flow. Like you're in a gallery and see a Picasso. But this ain't Picasso, baby. Even though it's like Jay, cause it's gonna drive the world crazy. This is for those admiring and looking. I heat it up for Instagram and play the rest cooking. It's so acrylic every time that I spit it. My foliage show that I all get it. Speaking of, this art get wows and awes. Like a masterpiece that's up in the halls. Everything is so realistic, but better yet, man, yo, it's so artistic, cause now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything they spit is just like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is hard work. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is hard work. My glaze hand bring the pick on home. I'm just an artiste in the Midwest zone. Now it's a lot of cats that paint, but they ain't making art, cause they be lying from the very start. So I make it a point that I paint what I feel, cause I know deep inside what I feel is all real. And this exhibit don't end till I say so. Sincerely yours, Michael Tangelo. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and the way that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture.
Hello, we are the Real Bravado Network, and we examine Black people relationships from an image perspective. Image impacts and influences your life and life experiences. It also determines how you were treated and how serious you will be taken. It can also influence your mobility, up or down. Image is a reputation that you are known for, which includes your behaviors, your character, and your appearance. The Real Bravado Network can't complete these objectives without a forensic examination of the 3 phases of the live stream: her image, his image, and our collective image. The Real Bravado Network want Black men and women to win with each other. One way of doing that is to protect each other's image, but first, examining what we have done to our collective image. Please support the Real Bravado Network on YouTube by clicking subscribe, hitting the thumbs up button, clicking the bell notification for updates, and leaving a comment in the comment section. Here at the Real Bravado Network, we dare to be bold, not silent.
Yeah. Who's keeping it real? Who's really had a bad deal? What's the point of a pill and touching what you can't feel? Take each quote, let that provide hope. Now walk in silence and push the envelope.
How rap turned bad, I never know. I remember Ozone and Turbo and Curtis Blow solo singing. These are the breaks. The first time I heard a Too Short tape. Controversy on where it started and what state. In '88, I watched it elevate. It got so large, the corporate America made it circulate. Now thanks to that, it's money in gangsta rap. Try to eliminate vinyl, man, these motherfuckers done snap. I feel like that was direct blow, aimed toward the ghetto. They don't fucking rock and roll, it's like taking guitars out of heavy metal. And I ain't gonna settle for that, so I keep my shit waxed. For my hip hop heads and my turntable and crate cats. Down to keep it underground, without the railroad. 100 million copies made, that's 100 million copies sold. So fuck platinum and gold, I'm on some next level, yo. Make the scientists add an element to the periodical. I'm Christopher Columbus, I'm a charcoal. Until I hit land, the dirtiest nigga around. Esau, shit black sand. And I ain't a liar, I do it for the money and the fans and the power that I feel. When the mic's in my hands, it be like
who's keeping it real? Who's really had the bad deal? What's the point of a pill and touching what you can't feel? Take each quote, let that provide hope. Now walk in silence and push the envelope. Who's keeping it real? Who's really had the bad deal? What's the point of a pill and touching what you can't feel? Take each quote, let that provide hope. Now walk in silence and push the envelope.
Yo, push the envelope, raise prices up and down like ski slopes. Ghetto wishes and lost hopes. Move past the slow poke, selling chopped up soap. I parlay amongst my people, I parlay amongst my folks. Spitting hip hop quotes. This rap life, this street life ain't no motherfucking joke. I'm daily dreaming about 30,000 dedicated fans. Real life one-man bands, DJ speaking with his hands. But on the other hand, we splurge grands. Rolling in a full-size Chevy Conversion van. Thinking up power moves, schemes, and scams. And how can we make these G's expand? My next plan, credit card schemes and scan. Triple beams and grams. Before this thing called hip-hop, I take a first
it's time to
stand.
make a statement. I'm trying to be your man with boys is trying to be complacent. My motivation is to inspire innovation. Without hesitation, we pioneers in this situation. Real MCs are chosen to create messages spoken. Hip-hop's a way of life that can't be taken from a joking. Now through it all, I stand and pledge my devotion. Let my words soothe the world like tough skin and lotion. Lessons of life are vitamins again and again. Stress up my shoulders through the weed and the pen. I holds my head up, walking through doors of the setup. Cause niggas wait for niggas to fall, that's how they place their bet up. I'm not afraid, since hip-hop needs an upgrade. It's time to be the grand marshal of the ticker tape parade. I try to say what most won't, and do what most don't. Stop thinking that I can't, and stop saying that I ain't. I dare to be different, yo, that's part of being gifted. They charge room large, make sure my people is uplifted. I push for the realness, till God decide to end it. The mid mess my domain, so I ride out independent. Who's keeping it real? Who's really had the bad deal? What's the point of a pill and touching what you can't feel? And take each quote, let that provide hope. Now walk in silence and push the envelope. Who's keeping it real? Who's really had the bad deal? What's the point of a pill and touching what you can't feel? Take each quote, let that provide hope. Now walk in silence and push the envelope.
I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win, every day I get it in. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win, every day I get it in. I'm a king, and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting head for treason. I don't have to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can do. Can't even get close, I'm on a pedestal. sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold. I don't do no hoes. I got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Best with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Best with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win. Every day I get it in. I'm a king. I told you guys before. Ready for the war to get me way much more. Gather all these spoils. Add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds. I'm a lion on the surge, always pushing to the edge. Facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness, I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you.
All right, everybody.
I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me.
I really can't see my back end, but those of you that might be in the chat, go ahead and get some likes up for me.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody. I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten. Just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day. I get it in.
We are back. All right, those of you who are joining me for the second day this week, I don't understand how all of those daily live streamers can do this every single day. Come out here and because I do some serious prep work to do my streams. We got a good one today. We had a good one on Monday. We got a good one today. Yep, I'm very grateful to my Unsolicited podcast. They are supporting one of their co-hosts is going to be with me today in just a little bit. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and drop my Unsolicited podcast's link to their stream in the chat. It's popping overseas. Okay. All right. So thank you guys for joining me. We are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation. My name is TJ, and we over here advocate for Black men who are actively working to reach their goals with finance, purpose, and family. We support Black men that embrace our motto, which is we dare to be bold and not silent. With the Black men we advocate for, we place a high degree of importance on character, personal brand, personal development with a foundation in accountability. Our name, Real Bravado Network, essentially means we are real bold over here. And we aim to do that on each and every stream that we do. Let's see who are our friends in the chat. But first, let me go ahead real quick right at the beginning of this while people are still trying to find their way in. And let me bring up my guest real quick. Hey, let me drop this down here. Hey there.
How you doing?
What you expected me to start out real quick with you?
I didn't. My child. Hey, everybody.
That's okay. Yeah, I wasn't, because normally what I do, Joy, is I jump through, my monologue and stuff like that. But I'm going to give people a few minutes to jump in here. But hold on, let me shout out to a few people that are here. Who do we got in the building? Here we got quite a few people from the mastermind. I'm part of there's a real good YouTuber named The Lead Attorney over here on YouTube, and he has a networking group called The Mastermind, and we got a few of them in the building. Uncle Junior Network is here. He goes, thanks for the support, brother. See you after the show. What you coming over? Oh, never mind. He's actually streaming right now, and I think he's gonna come over here. I'm like, you gonna okay. All right, let me see who we got. We got the YouTube principal in the building. Mr. Terrell Key is in the building. I affectionately call him the principal of YouTube. He is a high school principal, and that brother be over there educating us over on his platform. And we will, in a second, go ahead and drop the link to his channel as well. And then we have one of my unsolicited podcasters co-hosts in the chat, Miss Pharmacist herself, in Allen. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. And then here we go, Mr. Life Lessons for Men. What's up, my brother? Thank you for joining me. I think you're going to enjoy this one today. Let's see who else we got. Oh, Lisa, the housewife from the Wives Club, the Kevin Samuels inspired Wives Club. Miss Lisa is in the building. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us. I think we're going to have a real good one today, Joy. Let me see. I think oh my God, let me see. Celeste is in the building over here. Joy, you said the whole crew is here?
We are here.
The whole crew is here.
We roll deep, okay?
Miss Square Biz is in the building. But before we get going, I got something to ask you. Before we get going, somebody decided to do us a huge favor and bless us right off the rip, and we got to acknowledge it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, Miss Lisa from the Wives Club, the Kevin Samuels Inspired Wives Club. Miss Lisa, thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. Listen, I tell people all the time, I don't care what you contribute when you contribute. I mean, I do care. Let me stop lying. But the fact of the matter is, I tell people all the time, you know, when people decide to donate and invest in what you're doing, they're given a piece of something that is more precious. That dollar that they give, that $10 that they give, that 20 or whatever that they give, that represents something that individual can't get back, which is their time. So I do not take that lightly. I appreciate it, and I'm actually extremely humble every time somebody. Most of the time I can't believe somebody's like me. I mean, what am I? I'm just over here talking, but I'm believing what I'm talking about. So I really appreciate when people do this. You just don't understand, especially for those of us who are trying to actually provide a service and try to share some of our experiences. This is completely amazing when people do this. And I do got a beef with those people who get super chats and they're ungrateful. I've heard people behind the scenes like just kind of bemoan the fact that they gotta acknowledge their super chats. I'm like, come on, man, because people ain't got to do this. They're trying to support you. So I appreciate that. I don't care what the amount of money is. Lisa, I appreciate that a lot. Let's see who else we got up in here. Wow. So there we go. So Joy, you got your own channel and it's called The Mortgage Boss, right?
Yes.
So I don't know a lot about your channel. So can you bring me up to speed on what you do over on your channel?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for extending the opportunity and the invitation to me to be able to speak with you about important matters of the community. So hey chat, I'm Joy Bailey. I have a YouTube channel called The Mortgage Boss. In my real life, I am a residential mortgage loan officer. And so I am somebody to call if you are looking to purchase a home and you need a home loan for a primary residence, a second home, an investment property, or if you're looking to get cash out or any type of refinance as interest rates start to go down. But what I pride myself on is providing advice for real people in real life. And the reason I say that is because, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation that runs rampant on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. And it's a little challenging to explain the home buying process because it's so complex. It's hard to explain it in 7-second sound bites. And so I try to open a dialogue to push back on some of the myths because my very existence on these channels are y'all can't buy a house with no money. And so we talk about strategy and what's important and the why. Why is building wealth so important, not just for you, but to future generations. So.
Okay. And that kind of fits right in what our purpose is over here, which supporting men, who actively are working to, reach their goals with finance, their purpose, and their family. And you definitely cannot have a family without a roof to put them up under. So I appreciate that. Listen, so we always have a relationship leaning discussion over here, no matter what we talk about. And today is one of those relationship leaning discussions. We had one on Monday, but we were more. It wasn't heavy on the relationship side, but we're going to be over here. I actually, what inspired today's stream was I found a video from a lady she was about 74 years old, and she talked about Black men today being different and talking about them being feminine. So that actually inspired my stream today. I'm actually going to play what inspired the stream, and then I'm going to get right into it. So, Joy, I'll be right back with you in a little bit, okay? All right. Let's see. Let me see. Here we go.
This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Okay, we're going to talk about these men. And I want you to beware of these men, these new age men. That's what we're going to call them. New age men. Because men today are much different from the way they used to be. And what I mean by that, I mean that men before this new age came up, men were more masculine. Let's say that. They're more masculine. They did manly things. They dressed in a manly way. If anything needed to be lifted, the men did it, But today, I find men are becoming more feminine than masculine. And I'll say that because, the industry has a lot to do with that. Men's clothing is looking more feminine. It is tighter, showing their shape more. And men their underwear is more colorful, more like women's when they used to be just a plain white or black or whatever. Things like that. Men are wearing more jewelry when it was usually the women that did that. Now men are doing it. And I've even seen men come out with skirts on. The industry is making skirts for men.
So she really caught my attention. Now the clip came from a 22 or 27 minute video. And then she kind of goes into a whole lot of other stuff that I was like, okay, it kind of triggered me a little bit. But the foundation of today's stream is based on what she talked about earlier today, is that men are different today. And here's the thing. She's absolutely right. There is a stark difference between the kind of men that are out here now and the kind of men that she was interacting with in her generation, and they're still around. There's a stark difference between the two sets of men. I cannot deny that. But there's a reason for that. And so I'm going to kind of try to walk through that a little bit, but before I do that, let me go and talk about something else a little bit, and I'll get there. So kind of go on this journey with me a little bit. I'll get you there. We're going to be kind of quick about it tonight, but the United States has a long-standing policy that it doesn't negotiate with terrorists, and there are several reasons for that. It's dangerous to set the precedent. Negotiating with the terrorist sends the wrong message. It sends the message that the United States is willing to compromise to those who want to try to impose their will through violence. The United States does not want to reward bad behavior. It undermines the rule of law that the United States claims that it's all about. And then the United States feels like it puts its citizens at risk for negotiating with terrorists. I don't know. They said that if they negotiated with terrorists, it might embolden more terrorist attacks, more kidnappings, and it might just, because the United States is conceding and acquiescing to those kind of demands. So here's what I'm getting to. When our Black women, or any woman for that matter, takes the position, it's my way or the highway, are they essentially making a terroristic threat? And for me, that's a rhetorical question, because of course it is. But not in the traditional sense that you're thinking about when you think about terrorism. For our women, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and I know, here we go again with them data-driven, them numbers, them statistics, and I've heard it all over the last several months. Where are you getting them numbers from? We don't trust them. They're putting out stuff to keep us down. I mean, I've heard it all. But the United States, the U.S. Census Bureau stated that for Black women currently in the United States, and this data goes back to 2019, that only 27% of Black women are married, which leaves 73% of our women not married. And one question I have is, are our women holding our family hostage by taking an all or nothing approach? Now, I know that question is a little provocative and maybe a little misleading. But, and it also assumes, the statement or question also assumes that our women are in an open rebellion against marriage in general. And truth be told, I think I can actually make an argument for that. But however, I think the reason our women say, the reason our women have adopted this "my way is the highway" position is because one of the reasons is because our women are completely allergic to the notion of having to settle. Nearly on a universal level, our women reject the notion that settling is even an option. With the volume of Black women unmarried, and effectively without the thing that historically was tied to a woman's value, which we're talking about is her family, how is settling not an option? Hold that thought for a minute. Black women collectively, and I'm not speaking like on an individual level, and yes, I do know that I'm being very general right now, but Black women have this attitude or have this perception that there are not enough serious and qualified Black men who want to be husbands. Our women constantly ring the bell that there are not enough marriage-minded men who are able or capable of leading them, let alone managing the responsibilities of an entire family. And despite BlackDemographics.com, the CDC, the Census Bureau, despite them stating that 52 to 54% of Black men are single, childless, earn enough money to be considered middle class, our women seem to can't find viable men to make families with. So from time to time, I plead for grace and mercy. And I got a little bit of a message to our women, and I'm here to tell you, and I'm here to be a little bit honest right now. There are aspects of Black men that are not fully fit to be the heads of family and not fit to lead you. Now, I know that might seem like a bit of a relief, or some of y'all might have cracked a little bit of a smile about that, just because I acknowledge that little piece. But what you need to understand is that Black men don't really consciously know that or understand it or even aware of it. And the majority of the reasons is it has nothing to do with Black men failing at being good men. You know, our Black women, you have a sea of good, kind, serious, dedicated, loyal, competitive, competent men. But they're hard to recognize. And in general, and I know I'm being very general in my statement, there are two reasons for that. One, those men that are those things, our women are not attracted to them. And two, the overwhelming majority of Black men born between 1975 and 2000 have way too much female software. Now that's, you know, that's something. While these fellas look like men, they often to a woman don't necessarily feel like men to them. And I'm not talking about like it in the gay kind of way. I'm just, I don't know if those of you who remember, you can put just put a 1 in the chat if you remember. Do you guys know who Judge Lynn Toller is? Do you guys know who Judge? I think that's her name, Judge Lynn Toller. She was like, she took over from Judge Maybelline from the divorce court. Anyways, her husband recently passed away, and she was on an interview talking about an incident with her husband. And that incident was she had something happen at her job, and it kind of sent her into a tailspin. So she called him and told him that, you know, listen, I'm not doing well. And he's like, okay, baby, I'll be home. And then so he shows up at home, and she goes on a 20-30 minute rant about what was going on. She was screaming and crying, and she made the statement that he didn't really say a lot during the conversation. He just listened, provided slight feedback, and then she went on to talk about how no matter how she behaved, no matter how she acted, no matter what was going on, no matter if the family was in crisis, her husband was unshakable. He was always consistent. He was always a rock. She called him like her 6'1" anxiety pill. That's what she called him. He was always a rock and consistent and unshakable and always knew and had a plan. And I'm telling you that story because the men born between 1975 and 2000, and we can fudge the numbers here for a year here and there, we are not made that way in general. So a lot of times when our women are having interactions with us, whether they're positive or negative, especially when you get into arguments or there's chaos, you will oftentimes see your man behave almost like you. And there's a reason for that. Now, this is where I always call for grace and mercy. You know, grace is something that's rooted in undeserved kindness. Each one of us, from time to time in our life, could use kindness and favor that we didn't deserve. Mercy is built on compassion, you know, and it's a response to someone who's suffering, who needs help, or somebody who needs a second chance. Grace and mercy. I'm asking for our women, for your black men, to offer grace and mercy. And I'm going to show you what that looks like when you offer that for us. Because I got to go a little bit into about us a little bit. But before I do that, of course, I gotta do my thing, and I got to acknowledge a few people real quick. Okay, can't let the stream get away too fast. Here we go.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right. Shout out to My Sexy is Strong. Shout out to the black men and the women that support each other. Power to the people. Thank you, My Sexy is Strong, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. And then also coming through to support your bro, the YouTube principal himself, Mr. Terrell Keith. That's right, with the $10 super chat. Shout out to all the husbands out here. Absolutely. You know, thank you guys for your super chats. I really appreciate them. They're really helping me and keeping me encouraged to keep doing what I'm doing over here. And those for you who've been around a little bit, checking me out here and there the last couple months, you are noticing that there's a change in the platform. There's an absolute change in the platform, what I'm talking about, how I'm talking about it. And I know I'm going to get sidetracked. I'm getting sidetracked just a little bit. That whole blow up thing with the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel and what the black men did about that, man, that crap shook me. I was so disgusted by watching our brothers go out here and go to war over some nonsense, and I was and the ones that were defending what this lady did. I'm not going to go back over it, but it made me readjust and rethink about how I approach some of my topics over here, because even though we have these conversations over here about relationships, about money, about purpose, and the fact that we're challenging our women, we're challenging our men, let me make it perfectly clear. I am 100% and will always be, no matter how far apart we seem to be as black men and black women, I will never, ever go to war for somebody who don't share my reflection. Especially when they say something as ignorant as what that woman did. There's no way in the world I'm gonna do that. Especially, I'm not out here looking. These brothers had our women out here. These brothers out here basically justified what our women thought about us with that crazy crap. So I know I just that was like a side thing that just popped up on me. Thank you guys for the support and everything. Okay, so let's get back to it. So listen, ladies, most of our women, our black women, you ladies out here watching it right now, kind of fail to acknowledge that the men of our generation had their manhood ripped from them in the crib, straight in the crib, had it ripped and taken from us. And yes, I am being general. From birth, most of us were doomed. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but most of you ladies watched it happen in real time. And some of you on the older side of it caused some of it. And when judging and assessing black men's fitness for headship or head of house duties, most of you conveniently leave out that almost all of our men, at least 2 generations, had only female influence in their development. But you have an expectation for these fellas to act like men when none of us were groomed to be like Judge Lynn Toller's husband. We were groomed to be what our mothers thought a man was or what she hoped a man to be. Sometimes y'all discount the impact of the father not being in the home and how it relates to the quality of men that we have out here today. Many of you watch this up close and personal. We're talking about your brothers today, your cousins, your uncles. You watched them grow up. You watched You watched how they were taught. You watched how your mothers treated them. You watched at times the lack of responsibility and accountability that was required of them. You watched their development and how they were taught close up in the home, but yet you have an expectation for men to be something that we were not trained to be. Single mother homes, especially for blacks in the United States, is very common. And when you think about black families, most people, the only thing that they imagine is a black woman and a bunch of kids. Hell, most public images or imaging, like in movies and commercials, where it's a black family, there's never a father nowhere in there. I mean, he's always absent from the imagery. It's as if the black children magically manifested themselves in our mother's womb, and I guess our children got here the same way Jesus did, immaculate conception. You know, growing up, you know, in single mother households, and let me tell you something, this is not, you know, a drag on our mothers. This is not about the mothers. This is about the quality of men. But we have to deal with what produced that to a degree. So this is not a drag on our mothers at all. But growing up in a single mother house, and I grew up in a single mother house, and can have a variety of social effects on black men. I mean, I guess on the positive side, you know, you guys who got brothers, got a lot of brothers, you know, a lot of your brothers, a lot of you ladies that were raised in the house with just your mother and you got brothers, a lot of you watched your brothers have a way closer relationship with the mom than you. And then as a grown woman now, dealing with all of these son husbands or mama's boys, I mean, y'all have to deal with these guys in a relationships, or better yet, as a woman, when you have to deal with the mother of these men, and that these mothers act like you as their wife or their girlfriend, that you the other woman, and she's the main woman. There is a lot that a lot of our guys, there's a big deficit for a lot of our men. And a lot of our men a lot of us are just now in the last few years coming to understand that there's a deficit. So we're a little bit behind. So there are also some social negative influences as a result of growing up in single mother homes. One of the most significant ones, obviously, is the absence of the father. And without the father in the home, the black boys struggled with a sense of masculinity and had a hard time learning the skill sets and the behaviors that are traditionally associated with being a productive black man, or just a productive man. I mean, that means when qualified fathers are not in the homes, the boys never learn manhood. They never learn the tenets of manhood. And more importantly, they don't learn how to manage their interactions with women. We never learn how to sustain our relationships based on our roles and our responsibilities. We never learned this. But there's an expectation, because we're adults now, that we just have it, that we just got it. Hold on a second. Man, they coming in hot today, Joy. They coming in hot today.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thank you to Maggie, the substitute teacher, for the $20 super chat. Oh my goodness. Y'all, Maggie last month had 2,000 subs a month ago. This woman got 30,000 subscribers, all on cooking healthy food and dancing and doing the good food dance when she tastes her meal at the end of the stream. Now, yes, Maggie did have a little bit of a viral moment because, you know, she was with a couple other YouTubers that took a shine to her. We're talking like Melanie King. We'll talk about her later. MTR, and that other one. So, but Maggie, has been out here killing it. She got a rocket ship strapped to her back. Her channel is growing. You guys, whoever is not, need to check it out. If you guys could do me a favor, because I'm having issues over here, drop her a link to her channel in the chat. Maggie, the substitute teacher, and thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I know it just sounds like, a little cliche, but it's humbling when someone, just supports you like that. That's just remarkable. All right. Not having the guy in the home, not having the father in the home can have a profound lack of low self-esteem and a sense of disconnection for the Black man. And more importantly, and I'm going to hit hard on this, the inability to lead a family. And then a lot of times when we talk about, you'll hear a lot on various platforms that have these conversations around there. They talk about, who taught you, what did your mama teach you? What did your daddy teach you? It's not like they literally sit down and put you through school, but it's more so of watching how they interact with each other, watching how they problem solve, and them giving you tips and pointers along the way and pushing you in the directions that you need to go. When you got 80% of single mothers raising up, 75% of single mothers raising 80% of the children, who's out here teaching these men about being men? I often talk about my grandfather, and I'll get into that real quick. Unfortunately, I did not meet my father until I was 30 years old. And subsequently, I didn't meet his father until I was 30 years old. And I tell the story all the time that I was at my grandfather's house, and we got into a disagreement about something. And this man, good God, he's an old school man. We're back there. I'm going in with my grandfather, and he just looks at me, and he just gets like quiet, and he got this look on his face, and then he looked me dead in my face. He says, "I can't talk to you. You act too much like a woman." I was 30 years old. I was crushed. It was a combination of the, what he said and the harshness in which he said it. But that began, I didn't know at the time, but that began my journey to try to understand why that man, looking at me as a 30-year-old man who had nothing to do with my upbringing. This was my thought process. You had nothing to do with my upbringing, and you can make a comment like that about me when I didn't know you or my father for 30 years. But I'm glad that I did not take an approach that would create more tension with my grandfather and my father based on that statement, because when he said that to me, I probably only had known them about 3 months. So I took heed in what he said, and I started thinking about it and started the journey. It was a small step that led me to kind of where I am today about that. And a lot of us are out here and we just don't know. And we are ineffective in leading families. And when I was married, I was ineffective as a headship. I was ineffective. When she misbehaved, when things went south, I did not know the right way to handle those situations. And I handled them all the wrong ways. And leading a family effectively does not mean that you need to lead the family perfectly, because there's no such thing as perfection. It's effectively. And a lot of Black men struggle with feelings of guilt and responsibility for their mother's struggles as a single parent as well. And some of those feelings can lead a lot of young men to harbor a lot of anxiety and can lead to inappropriate behaviors with the women that you're in relationships with. This stuff is deep, and I'm a firm believer. Women, ladies, look, as you know, as much as we have these scrummages over relationships and getting together and what we should or should not do, but if you find a guy that you think you can work with, make sure that man has got some therapy. Make sure you've gotten some too. You know, because this stuff, especially if he came out of a home where it was just him and his mother, there are things he's just not going to know and things that he's not going to understand. And there's going to be behaviors and he's going to handle things in a way that looks strange to you coming from him. And he can't help it. It's so the last thing I'm going to talk about is, you know, a lot of young Black men are pressured to fill the void left in the homes by the men who should have been there, the fathers. Many Black men feel a sense of responsibility to provide in the way that their father should have provided for the family. And one of the things that they feel pressure to do is to take care of their mothers. And if we failed that, that pressure can lead to feeling of inadequacy, insecurity, frustrations, bad behavior, poor decision making, taking unnecessary risks, or simply becoming impotent. And I'm not talking about from a sexual standpoint. I'm talking about from a development standpoint. Young Black men whose mothers pressure them into becoming responsible for the family may feel like they are constantly falling short to struggle. Take a look at a lot of these NBA and NFL players when they get their contracts. One of the first things they say, I'm going to buy my mama a house. I'm going to retire my mama. I got to take care of my mama. Now, listen, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with taking care of your parents. Your parents. Your mother should be taken care of by her husband. Her son is not her husband. That can cause issues in relationships with the woman that he's supposed to take care of. No woman should have to compete for being the chief woman in a man's life with that man's mother. That woman should have her own husband or her man or however you want to couple up. That's what's supposed to happen. Well, we have a lot, and I hate to admit this. I was raised by my grandmother. I worry constantly about her well-being. And I take care of that. What if I was, had a woman in my house and we were financially strapped and I'm sitting there having a conversation with her about what I got to do at my grandmother's house and my own house is on fire? How you think that woman in my house is going to be looking at me? Your responsibility is over here, fella. And then the words out of my mouth is, but that's my mama. And she going to say, and this is how these arguments go left. She going to say, your mama should get her own man. And guess what you going to do? You going to flip all the way out because she talking about your mama that you got an inappropriate attachment to. I'm not saying that men should not love and care for their mothers. But the sad truth is they don't come before your wife. No one does, including your mama. So that's what we're dealing with out here. There's a lot. A lot of guys may feel like because if they don't take care of their mothers, or they don't do this, or they don't do that, that somehow that they're not living up to some kind of expectation of what being a man is about. I'm going to be very specific because I'm about to bring Joy back up on here because I have some questions to ask her. Being very specific about this. or being very direct about this. And I'm not displacing the issues that our women bring to the table. I hate that phrase, but what our women bring to a relationship, because our women bring their own set of issues to the table. But I can't even imagine wrapping my head around a woman who's having to deal with a man with this much level of mess, and then having to engage with him in that conversation. Okay. What the? Whoa. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Oh, no, Joy, I'm going to bring you up. Hold on. We're going to have to do this together, Joy. Hold on a second. Hold on. We're going to have to do this one together.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Uncle Junior, what? Bruh, what? Look, you know what? You know what? Joy, don't do that. Don't do that. Because now I got a bone to pick with you. So why? Uncle Junior, are you still on? If you're still on, I want you to come up. Why are you giving me my money back? Why are you doing that? When a brother supports, take the support, Uncle June. You do this on another stream, not 10 minutes after. And I know I'm airing out some of our brother business right now. This is brother business right now. But I'm grateful. And look, if we were real brothers, we would be thumping right now. Like, I got family. Look, I got family members. You know, you help them, and then they're gonna come give it right back. I know what the intention is. It's all love. I know what it is. But when I come, Uncle June with the $100. Whoa, my God. My goodness. What else did I miss? Of course, my unsolicited podcast in Allen. Oh my God. Yeah, this conversation is real. I told you in Allen, that just Pearly Things debacle really did. It shook me. It really did. I got a bit angry. I got disgusted, and then and it was a good thing, because it allowed me to start thinking about, you know, the direction of what I want to go with my conversations, because I'm not over here just to talk to be talking, because I really want us to do something. I want some kind of outcomes, even on a small scale. So, and Alan, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. Who else am I missing? Oh, we got a member. We got a new member. Look, what I got for the new member. Oh, new members. I'm dropping bombs for new members. Yeah, the brother became a new. He's my first member.
Oh,
He's my first.
that's sweet.
First. Let me see. Is that my phone? Let me turn this thing off to make sure we got that feedback. Oh my God. Let's see. Who else we got? Jess, talk about it. There you go. Jess, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it all. Joy.
Yes.
So I guess me calling the brother out.
I saw it.
Hold. Calling the brother
I saw
out.
it.
Well, I got to do it again.
Comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
That's love right there. That's sweet. I love it.
What am I supposed to say? Who does this?
That's a real supporter.
That's
That's a real supporter.
I was talking to I'm gonna tell you who. I was talking to one of our people in the mastermind, and we were talking about support and the importance of doing it without expectation, because they came to me because, you know, I try to support. When I'm supporting you, is because it's not like I have to agree with everything you're doing, but I have to agree with the spirit in which you're doing it. That's how I make the decision if I'm going to support. So you ladies on my Unsolicited Opinions podcast, you guys have some very provocative conversations for a brother, but I like the fact that you're actually having them. And I'm of the belief that you're having them from a good faith place, even though I might have a disagreement about it, but I think the conversation is coming from a good faith place. So because of that, I was supporting. I was telling this person, you know, when you support, just support. Don't have any expectations. Don't worry about it, because, you know, I'm a believer in God. Some people go, the universe. You can have your universe. I'm gonna have God. So God will take care of that. You do what you do. You do it in good faith, and you turn it over. And Uncle June, bruh. Woo! Okay. They didn't just like derailed the show. Just derailed it. Like, how do you do that? And Mr. Terrell Key, I gotta drop a bomb from him too. Member number 2, the youth principal. My God. Look at this. What is this? I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. This is what, the third super chat from Mr. Key. What the? I mean, is it because I actually told the brother story today? And I'm asking for, okay, let's get going. We gotta pretend like this didn't happen. Here's my question, Joy. Here's my question for the conversation. Am I making excuses for our brothers, or are we being a little too hard for the expectation? Are women have too high of an expectation for our men, or am I just making up excuses?
What do you mean too hard? Can you quantify that a little bit?
I mean, it seems like when I look, I have a lot of conversations with women, especially in the field that I work in my real life. You know, I am surrounded by Black women, and I get to hear firsthand what they expect out of a guy. You know what I mean? And for me, it seems some of the expectations seems to be very daunting, you know, for the brothers, you know, and they're very hard on, and they're not necessarily positive things. There's a whole laundry list of stuff that the women want, and to a degree, I'm fair with it. You know what I mean? They want the guys to be very traditional, and they want them to be providers. They want to be good decision makers. They want them to be able to teach, you know, They want them to be able to anticipate your needs. They want to be able to talk to you. They want to be your friend, all of that, you know? Mm-hmm. And then they also expect the guys to be like these high earners and have these different physical requirements. And then also they want to be, and you and I have had this discussion, they want us to be partners. When partners, and I always ask, how can you be a partner to someone who is actually responsible for you? So we have a lot of expectations for our guys, and then their experiences with men lead them to believe that men are immature, they're not stable, They don't make wise decisions. We chase everything that move, you know. And so, and I'm sitting up here with all of this information, and I'm going, and they talk about the quality of men, like that lady did at the beginning in that clip. And I'm saying to myself, if there's a problem with the quality of men, that's because our men today were never groomed to be men. And this is not a complete knock on our women who did the job of raising the children, but you only raise them with the idea of what you think the man is, what the man should be, and the qualities that are instilled in us are not necessarily qualities that are actually attractive to women. So you got a whole group of guys out here who I said they're kind, they're responsible, you know, they're competent, but they interact with you more like a woman. That's because your behavior patterns are set by the influences that you have growing up. And if there's no male balance to that in the home, then when you're interacting with a guy, you're going to get what he's accustomed, how he's been programmed to interact.
I understand that. I mean, I will start with this statement. I think that when we start to have conversations about the opposite sex, there needs to be some introspection of yourself. Only you can be accountable for you. Men have to work on themselves and women have to work on themselves. There's no way that I will ever be able to tell a man how to be a man. There's no amount of books I can read, television I can watch to be able to do that. And as one of these single mothers, I have a son. And I don't want him to be a mama's boy. I heard you reference that a little bit earlier. I don't want him to be a mama's boy at all. And so what I try to do is use various resources to stand in the gap for things that I cannot provide as a woman. Yeah, that's all I have. That's the best thing that I can do. But in terms of like being hard on them, I don't know what that means, because I'm only responsible for myself. And some of the expectations that I hear men complain about, they're unrealistic expectations from delusional women that can't fulfill some of those things themselves. Those are not my peers. Those are not my friends. And so I can't speak on that.
You know, I hear you, but I'm not so sure that I think you said those delusional women. I think sometimes you ladies don't understand the volume of women that are delusional that we do.
I do. I see them on social media. I just don't interact with them in my real life. Yes. I don't know those people. I don't surround myself with people that have expectations of other people that they can't fulfill for themselves. Do those people exist? Yeah, I'm sure they do. I can't speak for them because I don't interact with them. I'm not a part of those kind of unrealistic conversations.
But but that's the issue that a lot of our guys are having out here, is that, you know, we're out here, you know, and we're running into these things, you know, and then especially when you start having conversations about, you know, when you do, and I think a lot more guys right now are having conversations about marriage than ever before. And when they're having these conversations about marriage, what they get back from the lady folk is it's always, and I actually had this conversation like last night with one of my coworkers. They start listing all of these conditions that they would want within the marriage. And like this particular young lady last night I was talking to, you know, she's 38, she's never been married. She just got out of a relationship with a guy that was living with her for 7 years. And I was like, that was your first mistake. You don't let a dude move in with you, but she did. And for 7 years, I mean, side note, ladies, listen. If a guy is gung-ho about moving in with you, that's because he needs to move in with you. I'm just telling you.
Preaching now.
And it should be like a common sense thing, you know what I mean? But our ladies are always, but I love him. But he has potential. But he's smart. Yeah, but he needs to live with you. I tell anybody, I said, listen, if it's hard for, we talk about this. Women need to have the ability to respect their man. How can a woman respect the man that's moved in with her? And now she's providing a roof, shelter, resources for him. It's backwards. I don't care how modern our women are. Don't know. That's absolutely backwards. And this particular, lady last night, she was like, yeah, when I get married, I got to have my separate bank account. We got to have our 2 houses, and I got to have, and I told her, I said, then you don't want a husband.
They have 2 houses. Like they're going to live separately from each other?
Because she has a house now.
Oh, okay.
Or she's about to, she's closing on a house. So she said, so she got him in. Well, I'll just keep mine just in case something goes wrong. I got mine to go back to. And I told her, you don't need to get married. There's nothing in this life that you can do that doesn't have risk. You're dealing with a human being. Human beings are risky. Yes, you can minimize the risk, but human beings are risky. And I say this to the guys, getting married to a woman, it is risky. And a lot of our women believe that I think they have a profound misunderstanding of the legal system when they get married. Most women, if the relationship ends, will be made whole. That guy probably won't, but you will. The system is set up, especially if y'all have children. Y'all ain't gotta have children together. There's got to be, if there's a kid in the vicinity, the woman will almost always be made whole. And now if you marry a guy and y'all have a kid together and y'all come together under that house and y'all got to go separate, that house goes with the kid. That's how the courts look at it. The house goes with the kid. The kid needs a shelter. And then who's the primary caretaker is the woman. She gets the house. So I was telling her, I said, why are you that concerned if you meet a guy and he says to you, you got to sell that house. I don't want nothing to do with it. You coming over here. Well, that's not going to work in my marriage. You don't get, well, but you're 38 years old. You ain't even had one yet. Some people have been on 2 or 3 by that time, so you haven't had the one. How is that working out for you with your pursuit? If that's what you say you want. And she talked about very specifically about how she doesn't want all of the pressure and all the relationship. Well, then that would mean that you give up all of having. You said it on your stream, $300,000, $400,000 mortgages. Who got that kind of money sitting around? Average folk. None of us. But if you don't want all that pressure, that's what he's there for. He's meant to carry that pressure load. But I told her, I said, your way of thinking, you want a 50-50 partner. Don't get married. Just have a boyfriend. And y'all can go 50-50 on everything. So so it's those kind of conversations that are being having out here, because there is a contingent of men out here that they might not have like, quote unquote 6-figure. Let me tell y'all something. There's a lot of talk about the 6-figure stuff. Here's the dirty little secret. $100,000 is not a lot of money.
I'm glad you said it. I don't want the people coming for me if I say it.
$100,000.
It's not.
You know what $100,000 gets you? You ain't got to worry about gas money. You can always go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
But that's about it. The kind of lifestyle they're talking about $250,000, $275,000 or more. You know what I mean? $100,000 is not a lot of money, and $100,000 is not hard to obtain of income. It's not that hard to obtain.
It's not hard to obtain if you are someone that has dedicated time for self-improvement.
Yeah.
And if you are someone that recognizes that you need to improve different skill sets. And I mean, it's difficult sometimes to look in the mirror and realize you've not lived up to the potential that you probably should have by a particular age. And so when you say, are women too hard on men? When we say, I want you to buy me a house, when we expect men to be in a particular place in life by a particular age, that's not necessarily the craziest thing, particularly in the example that you gave of the young woman that can obtain her own home. So why is it too hard for me to expect my partner, I said it,
Joy.
I said it, for my partner to be
Hold on a
on
second. Joy,
an
hold on a
equal
second.
playing field? Mhm.
Joy, hold on a second.
Like that. I said what I said.
Oh, that partner thing. Man. Here's the thing. I do not think it's an unfair expectation that your husband provides a home for you. Now, the quality of that home, that's something else. I don't think there's an unfair I don't think that's an unfair expectation, because I believe that. I always tell people, your guy, your husband's supposed to put you in a home. His home.
But most men don't own homes. I just got off of a stream talking about that. The fastest group of homeowners
are Black women
that are Gen Z.
Yes. And here's the reason why, because it's not about the fact that Black men don't have homes or don't want homes. There's no incentive for us to have a home. If we don't have a family, if we're not married, why in the world would I go buy a home?
So I had a conversation with the guy that said that it's because that, during the 90s when, we were, you go girl, men now didn't see their dads buying homes.
I think that's cap.
I was like, okay. I took it
with
a grain of salt. I laughed about it, but
I disagree with it. It's more so because there's where's the incentive? A home represents family.
It does.
Period. So if you got,
or it could represent an investment in yourself.
But a lot of us, believe it or not, when you listen, Joy, I'm a single man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I think in terms of investment, but I have a home now, but I just got it a couple of years ago. Prior to that, I had a town. The last piece of property that I owned was a townhouse, basically, essentially an apartment. It was a condo. It was an apartment, which that doesn't scream family. That
screams investment.
It does, but that's not how we're looking at it. When a man's thinking about a home, he's thinking about a family. That's the jump we make. And so women are always thinking about home by home because you're nesters. So it's your nesters and your family, and it's in your children, your family.
That's not why women are buying homes now.
Oh no, I'm talking about now. I'm just talking about in general. Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
that's not
the bag chase. Right now, it's a bag chase.
Yes, there's a mismatch in thinking. And so again, when I'm saying, what do you mean too hard? Why is it a challenge? Well, why is the perception that a woman expecting a man to invest in himself and invest in his future? Why is that hurdle too high?
Because a lot of times, it comes across as if you're not satisfied what we we always hear invest, improve. Like, let's take, for example, because we got Mr. Terrell Key. He's an educator. Some of the most educated people in this country are teachers. They have to have more education and more certification. Anytime that they want to move up in their field. They either have to go back to school to get another degree or to get another certification, or sometimes both. But their financial situation doesn't really improve that much, with the average teacher making about, and we're talking about an average 10-year, a teacher who's been around 10 years. She's about $55,000 a year. But that might be his life's passion, to be a teacher. But our women, because we want more, y'all want more, you want to level up, you want this, you want a certain level of lifestyle. That $55,000, which is probably content for him because he's doing what he's passionate about, isn't enough for you guys. I think there's where the disconnect is. And I think that's where the unfairness that or the too hard feeling comes in on. It's like, what do you mean I need to level up? I'm teaching our children. I'm a resource for our children. We can homeschool because I'm already an educator. You know, those are all of those things. What about law enforcement, firefighters? They don't make much more than $60,000, $70,000 at their peak. But our women are always more, invest, the bag, level up. Men are not necessarily, while they want more, men can get content with where they are.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
And
I think that's where things get conflated. It doesn't necessarily have to mean money. If you're not showing any type of ambition, that's going to be a problem. And usually the way that you display that you have any type of ambition at all is going to be through your job. Are you in a job where you desire to move up? What are you contributing? I am a former educator. I have a master's degree in education. I've been in a classroom. I've been in schools. There are not very many Black men in those schools. They're all women.
Nope.
They're all women.
Yep. Not anymore.
They are.
When I grew up, Joy, about 20% of my teachers were Black men. But this is, you're talking about in the early 90s rolling into the 2000s. You know, there were a lot of Black male teachers. Hold on a second, Joy.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Your crew, y'all have support. Your crew, Joy, my Unsolicited Podcast crew, have come through strong tonight. Square Biz, who's also one of the co-facilitators of the My Unsolicited Podcast, dropped in with the $20. Humans are risky. Yes, I know we said that like a while back, but we got into the conversation, but I didn't want to let anything go. I want to bring up Uncle June because he's in the back, and I want to get his opinion on this. Hello there, Uncle June.
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Joy, how are you?
I'm good, doctor.
I ain't no doctor.
I saw you. You said you're a PhD?
No, I was just saying that for you.
That's like Kevin Samuels.
Masters. I was joking.
Okay.
I was joking. I was just kidding.
But
yeah, I got a master's too.
But here's the thing, and I'm going to kind of bring you back to what Joy says. Ambition. How do you expect a man who's content or satisfied or his life purpose to be an educator or to be a firefighter or go into the military, that how does that translate into him not being ambitious?
It doesn't. I didn't say that.
But you said if he doesn't, he needs to have more ambition. What if that's where he wants to be?
No. I didn't say that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that you can tell a lot about a person by the profession they choose. There's a lot of investment in time, energy, and resources in school that goes into being an educator. There's nothing wrong with that. It says a lot about your character. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Shout out to the teachers. I'm always go hard for the teachers. They don't get paid enough. There's nothing whatsoever, but there are many, many avenues and opportunities for career advancement in the school system.
But
There's
what if
nothing wrong with
they don't want that
there's
though?
there's nothing wrong with staying in a school for 20 years because you're impacting the lives of tens of thousands of people. I'm totally fine with that. But what you were stating was, women, oh, they don't want somebody that make $50,000. Well, I mean, if you're in varying settings, I think that we're conflating the two. There's different ways to show that you're ambitious outside of just money.
Okay, Uncle Junior, what do you think?
What is ambition? Like, what if I desire to? I want to be a plumber, and I just want to make $80,000 a year. What's wrong with that? Why is that not acceptable? What if I want to make 70,000 and I live in a very poor state and I live moderately? You know what I mean? What's wrong with living like that? And I think some of it is that I think that some women have an expectation that they deserve a certain type of man. And I think that a lot of women, if we look at a lot of data statistics, most women choose to date the same type of men. Whereas men, we don't have a problem dating differently or dating at different levels. Because you think about it, if a man has his own house and everything like that, if he was to bring in a woman, he would technically be dating down, right? So men date down all the time. So when it comes to the educator piece and the jobs and different things like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with the guy who wanting to work hard, enjoy plumbing, and that's what he grew up doing, plumbing or tinkering with cars, and they just want to go out there and make $70,000 a year and come home and enjoy it and enjoy their family and enjoy their wife. Maybe they can't go to Disneyland every single year. You know what I mean? But would the wife be okay with going to Disneyland once every 3 years? And I think that some women are not used to, or some women are looking for a fairy tale lifestyle that a lot of men can't provide. And then when they get with these men, they're wanting this extravagant lifestyle. And like when you said, men, it's not that we're being content. It's like, look, I retired from the military. I did 20 years in the military, and now I'm an educator. I'm a elementary school counselor, and I love my job, but I don't have to work if I don't want to. But I don't have huge goals to be a billionaire. I enjoy my life. I have me a great wife. You know what I mean? My sons are grown. They're almost out of the house, different things like that. I'm enjoying myself. And yes, I'm good on my money as well. So with having money and resources, it does allow you the flexibility and some time to chill and relax and pay everything off and do different things like that. But I just think part of it is just that some women, not all women, they have an expectation that men should be providing up here when sometimes right here is really good enough. Because if I'm making 70 and you bring in your 40, we good.
But here's the thing, Uncle Junior. Here's the thing. They don't believe. Maybe I shouldn't say. I'm gonna say it like that.
That joy.
Our women view their money as their money.
And a lot of them do. And in my house, that's how it is. Like my wife don't work. My wife don't have to work, but my wife gets a check from, my wife was in the military, and she has a disability check. I don't touch her check. I don't care about it. I don't need it. You know what I mean? She paid the Hulu bill and the cable. I pay everything else. I don't want her to pay nothing else. I take pride in being a provider male, and that's what I want to do.
And a lot of women
my wife to pay for nothing.
And a lot of women, I think you guys misunderstand. Most of us guys don't listen. I always tell people, like, I can assimilate a woman into my house tomorrow. Her coming into my home does not change my bills on that much of it because it's already taken care of. But the thing is, back to the young lady at the job when we were talking about the resources, and I told her, I said, for me, I don't know if this, for me, any money that comes into that house don't belong to the individuals. It belongs to the house. That ain't your money. That belongs to the house. But a lot of our women feel, because they've earned it, that it's theirs. And if you're married, in my opinion, that is not none of that money belongs to the house. It belongs to the institution. It belongs to the business. The business is the marriage, is the family. That's who the money belongs to.
You ain't gonna get no pushback from me.
I'm just saying. No, I don't have a requirement. If I had a woman, I do well. I work hard. You know what I mean? I work in, I work hard. And I don't mind putting in the work, and then I do my other things. I have my ambitions. I guess for me, they're like, the things that I like to do outside of my job. And if I can monetize those things, great. You know, but a lot of times when I talk about being too hard, our women that are always looking, you know, always want ambition and the next thing, that it gives the impression that you're never satisfied, that your appetite is insatiable. You know, it's like for a lot of men, we get to the point where we're just cool. We want to build so we can be on cruise control. And you guys can't deal with, a lot of times, can't deal with cruise control.
Well, get somebody that does.
What woman do?
That's easy. Just
Find
somebody to match your energy.
Match your energy.
Find somebody to. It's fine if that is the goal. If that is that individual's desire, get somebody that's gonna match up with that, and then everything will be fine.
But in
What'd you say?
In our current market, I don't know where in our current market with our women that there are women out there like that. It's always about the come up.
Again,
I just don't see where they're out.
I'm not here to speak on behalf of anyone. I can only talk about my life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I can only talk about my life experiences. Me.
I think TJ got a point. I think if we look at social media, that is kind of sort of the narrative.
That's exactly where y'all getting this nonsense from. Is social media. Get off the internet.
Nonsense. I'm getting
get into real life.
I'm getting it from
exactly
the
what I was thinking. You guys, not you guys, but a lot of people are referencing viral moments that we see on the Shade Room. 80% of it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the things that you're saying is coming from 20% of the people. I don't know these people. I don't know none of them. I didn't go to college with them. They're not my neighbors. They don't work at my job. I don't interact with any of what some of the things are that I hear. Does it exist? Yeah, I guess so. Sure, whatever. But
and I'm telling you, as a man that is out here, and I tell you, I have a lot of conversations. And yes, it's not like I'm having conversations with millions and millions and millions of Black women. I'm not. But the volume of women that I talked, and it's getting to the point now at the job where it's becoming because I work in healthcare. These ladies seek me out because they hear about my perspective and they get kind of like, what? And they want to get direct knowledge or so. I hear this perspective regularly and it's normally, I don't hear it a lot from, I would say, the Gen Z, and not totally a lot from the millennials, but that late Gen X, early Gen Y, we're talking the 35 to 45-year-old group, which is where I fit. You know what I mean? It's strong with them. It's very, very, very strong with them, and that, but they have the least amount of outcomes. They're talking about, like the young lady I was talking about. She's a good looking woman. She doesn't have any children. There's no reason for this woman to not, unless there's like a behavior issue with her, you know, or should not have or be able to obtain what she wants to obtain. But if her mindset is, you know, mine is mine and what's his is mine too, and then he got to do this for me, and not really talking in terms of what she wants as a unit moving forward, you know, we're here to be of service. We're not here to be your servant. You know, we're supposed to be of service with one another. And our roles are, and this is what I told her too. I said, our roles are different. Why do you have a problem with your role? We all got roles and jobs to do, you know, even at work, within the confines of the family. Why do you want your job, your role, and mine too? That equals failure to me. In this, you know, in the title of the stream, Her Way or the Highway, our women who are the largest single group of women out here having this, it's her way or the highway, my way or the highway mentality with everything that you can't negotiate with. Where does that leave us?
Yeah, because then you call us terrorists earlier. Is that what you said?
I was
terrorists. Is that what you said?
I asked the question. Are you?
That's a pretty strong word to use.
I mean, look, if you got a large contingent of men that, you know, for what, even within all of their flaws and the inadequacies, but they still want wives. I don't know one man who don't want a woman. I mean, there are men who, I'm not talking about them, but I'm just talking about heterosexual men. I don't know one of them that don't want a woman. When you approach in mass,
They want
men,
multiple women.
yeah. When you approach, you know, when you approach the men en masse with these terms, and it's my way or no way, or I'm gonna be I could do bad all by myself kind of crap. When you approach, you're a terrorist. You're a terrorist to the family unit.
Then don't be terrorized.
Joy, you're preaching to the choir, because I don't accept it.
Can I say something, TJ?
Go ahead.
All right. I was looking in the chat and I seen Tyrell Key say something. He said most good things are hard to find. That's the truth, because most women are not wives, just like most men are not husbands. That's just personally what I believe. And I think because and
that's what I spent a good portion of the monologue talking about.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, our women have this expectation for us to be husbands, but the vast majority of us were not groomed, trained, or conditioned to be, because there weren't any husbands in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if you want to be a wife, you have to display and carry yourself as a wife. You don't get to be a wife after you get married. You have to show those signs of wifely things ahead of time. You know, just like men have to show husband qualities if they want to be a husband.
Yeah,
I think they both work together.
I was telling one of the brothers at the job, and he actually works in administration. I'm actually boots on the ground guy in the healthcare, but he works in administration. He was talking about how he wants to be married in this amount of time frame, and he's living in an apartment. I say, bruh, you got to set yourself up you got to set, if that's your goal, then you got to set your life up to receive it. That means you got to get out of your apartment. You got to start dating with intention. You got to start vetting. There's things that you got to do, but ahead of time. And and he just looked at me. He was like, "Why would I get a house before I got a woman?" I said, "Because you gotta. If you want a woman to follow you, you gotta demonstrate that you're able to prepare, that you're able to have, that you can think down the road. It's not just about getting a woman so you ain't got to go around chasing women no more. There's a lot that goes into it, but this is stuff that he was not really aware of. You can want a woman all day long, but you ain't got no place to put her. Most women.
Where you leading me to? Where are you leading me to?
Where you leading me to? My apartment.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I got a Section 8 neighbor.
Men want women that's gonna follow. And it's like, well, where are we going?
But they don't. But see, a lot of us out here have never had to have these conversations from the male parental figure that's supposed to be in our lives, and a lot of us don't know to even think down that line. And so that's why I talked about, our ladies. You're going to have to, if there's somebody out here that got, I call it good bones, like you got like a house that you want to rehab. If you got a guy out here with good bones, you're going to have to extend some grace and mercy as he figures it out. Because a lot of us are just now coming to this realization. And I said in the monologue, a lot of you sisters, maybe not you, Joy, specifically, but a lot of Black women watched what happened in the development of the Black, because they were in the home with them. They saw what Mama did to the sons and how they treated them, how they raised them. A lot of our guys were brought up in homes where accountability was just like a spelling word for school. It didn't exist.
So my question is, what are y'all talking about in a barbershop?
That's man
there are
talk.
lots of men in the barbershop. What are y'all talking about in the barbershop?
And you would find out.
What do you say? Go in the barbershop
in there.
Yeah, you gotta go.
There's code in there. Look, we don't want to know what y'all talking about in the beauty shop. So don't worry about what we talking about in the barbershop.
We talking about y'all.
That's what I'm saying. What we talking about in the barbershop, we don't want y'all to know about. That's why we ain't gonna tell you.
So my point, well, the reason why
I
I'm
know what you mean,
asking,
though. Yeah.
the reason why I'm asking is because I feel like a barbershop is a sense of community. Men are very serious about their haircuts and who cuts their hair, and they're very loyal.
I know I
And
got into it with my barber the other day because he was late.
exactly, and y'all see the same people float through the barbershop every Saturday. You know they kids because y'all been going there for 20 years. And so what are you all talking about amongst each other that isn't being discussed to the point of impact where we on the YouTube talking to strangers? I don't understand. Why aren't y'all conversing with one another and communicating these messages to one another?
Oh, we do. We have these conversations.
You
We
don't. Let me
talk
tell you
about.
why I know you don't. Because
So why you
you
gonna
guys
ask
look
me?
at
How you
cis
gonna ask
people.
me? And then when I reply, you
You
cut me
can't.
off.
Give me 1 second. Let me please, just 30 seconds. The reason why I don't believe that is because you guys will watch a man have 5 babies with 5 women, don't pay no child support, don't bring none of the kids to get their hair cut, don't do nothing, and be completely cool with them, totally fine with them, no problem. There's no pushback. Oh, that's my dog. That's my dog. You know what I'm saying?
Don't misrepresent barbershop talk and camaraderie for that we're cool with the guy. What happens when he walks out of that barbershop? Who is he cool with?
What are you? I'm asking. I'm dead serious. Like what is that? There's a gap that sounds like this. It's there. It has to exist. There seems to be some sort of gap that's there.
I will say this. There are all types of men in the barbershop. You have the pretty much the guy who's because everybody needs a haircut. So you can go in your local barbershop and you can see a politician, you can see the principal at the high school, you can see the mayor, you can see a guy who owns his business, you can see a plethora of different type of men inside of the barbershop. So which means that there are a bunch of different types of conversations going on. There are plenty of conversations like what you talked about being had. There are conversations that have been had about every thick woman that comes in and drops her kid off and leaves. You know what I mean? There's conversations about healthy stuff. There's all different types of conversations that are being held in the barbershop. The barbershop is not the place where we go and to get help from. You know what I mean? That's where we go to get support and get our haircut and talk about the games. So yes, even though there are some conversations being had about the guy with 5 kids and 5 baby mamas and different things like that, we dudes who have their stuff together, they don't necessarily, not that they don't associate with them, but it's not their call to dictate how a man should be living his life. What I try to do is I just try to model, and then I'm on here trying to talk and help and have conversations. So that's my way of giving back and help. I do, like you said, there is all different types of conversations, and maybe more of these conversations should be held at the barbershop. I'm not even against that either. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, those conversations, the good conversations are being had, and there are some bad conversations being had too. And there's also a bunch of different types of men who go to the barbershop. So you could be talking about football 1 minute, and the next minute you talking about something, somebody that just came into the barbershop that's real thick. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to clarify for Ty Square Biz. She goes, I thought there wasn't an incentive to buy a home when you're single. There isn't. What I mean by that is when men are just single and there's no prospects of becoming a husband or having a family, there is no incentive to buy a house. But the moment the man decides that he wants a wife, that's one of the things that he's going to have to do, that I think he should do, is move to make sure that he have a place to put her. Now, yes, he's going to run. Now, in today's world, he's going to run into a contingent of women who already have their home. And remember what I said earlier, I do not believe a man should move into a woman's house. I don't care. Even if you get married to that woman, don't move into, that's her house. You move her into your home. And then y'all got to figure out what to do with hers, whether it be sell it, Airbnb it or let our mama move into it. But that's my stance on that. I kind of want to move forward because I normally get off around this time, but I got another guest in the back I want to bring up, but I want to talk about one more thing specifically about her way or the highway and this issue around settling. This is why I started out with the whole terroristic thing, that our women, it's when you ask them about the term settling. Well, we don't ask them about settling. When we talk about realigning their standards, they say, why do I want to settle? And I say, well, because, why is the word settling such a dirty word to our women? I mean, I guess you can ask, why is the partnership a dirty word to us? But why is settling such a dirty word to our women? I always feel like everybody settles. So what does that actually mean? And then, more importantly, for our women, because so many of our women don't have nobody or no husband, and most women want a husband. They might got a boyfriend or somebody they've been in a relationship with or a situationship. Most women want a husband. At what point, at what age do you just go, all right, let me take the best available out here? And I know at one point Kevin Samuels talked about or asked that question about at what age are women should women settle? And I found a clip. I'm going to play the clip, and then Ms. Kendra, I'm going to bring you up. I found a clip of a lady who's a judge. She's 65 years old, and she's running for office. And she's talking about she's having a conversation with herself about if she should settle or not. So I'm gonna play this real quick, and I want you guys to come back and get your feedback. Hold on, let me Square Biz, let me get your comment off the screen. Where is it? There we go. All right, here we go.
So the question is, when do you settle? When do you compromise? Or do you at all? As for me, I've been single a pretty long time. Never thought it would be this long. I have to admit, when I got divorced a long time ago, I was a little arrogant. I was in my mid-30s, and I knew I was a good catch. Good woman, educated, great career, amazing mom, and I was a great wife. Cook, clean, do all that. So I kind of was a little arrogant and thought, oh, it's no problem. I'm going to be married in 2 to 3 years. Well, it's been a long, long time. And honestly, not even gotten close. And so sometimes, like a lot of women in my situation that I've talked to, that you ask yourself, well, when do you give up? When do you give up on finding the one? Or do you? As for me, I go back and forth. Sometimes I go, well, I just need to be with Mr. Right Now. Doesn't give me butterflies, but he's a good man. He's nice. He likes me. Don't have much in common, but he calls, so I talk to him. Or sometimes you've got the one that gives you butterflies, but he's unreliable and not dependable. He's broke. You got to take him out to dinner. We've all done that. Those are never sustaining long-term relationships. So the question is, do you compromise? Well, where I am right now today, I'm going to say no. I'm not going to compromise. I'm waiting. I'm going to stay optimistic. It gets hard staying optimistic this long, but I'm going to stay optimistic. Now, tomorrow, I don't know. Might settle. Just keeping it real.
I'm gonna mute my mic.
Oh my God.
Oh, so you want me to answer? Is that me? Was that my cue? He said I'm gonna sit back and listen. Is that what that was?
Hey, she talking about women. I don't know when women should throw in the towel.
I mean, okay.
Why would a man want to be settled for? It's like getting picked last.
Miss Kendra, can you please unmute? First of all,
Yes.
Men. I mean, Miss Kendra was on a stream with me about a month or so ago, and we talked about this a little bit. But when I found this, this lady who's 65 years old, who's divorced her husband 1,800 years ago, and she's still talking about she don't want to settle. How are we supposed to move forward when we have women of that age and that generation still talking about I'm hopeful? At what point here's what men do. Typically, we pick from the best of what's around us. We don't worry so much about what's in our list or our imagination or our ideal. We look at the pool of women around us and we'll choose from that pool of women. The best we can get from that pool of women. This woman is in her 60s, and we have 75% of our women in our culture that are unmarried. And I don't know how many specifically talk about that they don't want to settle, but that is a reoccurring theme. At what point, if you want somebody before you check out of here, at what point do you just go, okay, maybe I'd knock a couple things off of my non-negotiables list? Miss Kendra, at what point? This woman's 65 years old. Can you hear me, Miss Kendra?
I have a little bit of a take on this. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Can
Miss
you hear
Kendra.
me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So I probably have a little bit different take on it. Okay, I believe, and I know people have their lists, right, that they put in place for your
Miss
and
Kendra,
know what for you in a relationship. But I also believe that it's important to have a strong foundation before I on a
Miss Kendra, you're still breaking up. Turn your cam off and see if that fixes it a little bit.
Can you not hear me?
We can hear you, but you're breaking up real bad. Turn your cam off and see if that helps a little bit. Okay, go ahead and try.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Is that better?
For now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, that's not working, is it? I don't.
Yeah. I was saying that I probably have a little bit different.
Okay. I think
you're going to go out and come back.
Yeah. Go out and come back. I think your reception is just really, really bad. I'll just add, let me see. Phil, we got another person in the background. Philly, are you there?
Okay.
Philly, go ahead and cam up if you're there. We got Philly in the background. Okay, she's not there. All right, Joy, I'm going to ask you.
So I say this like kind of humorously, but not really. Why would somebody want to be picked last for kickball? Like what? Why would a man be okay with feeling settled for? That's something that I don't quite understand. And then the other part of that is, and again, I can only speak for myself. I haven't really been checking for any dudes. I've been checking for myself. I've been trying to build myself up because, as we spoke about a little bit earlier, human beings are hugely unreliable. What can I do to be able to rely on myself and provide for myself? And whatever this laundry list of things that I say I want from this other person, what can I do to make sure that I can do those for me in the event that this magical person doesn't fall down from the sky? I think that when we get into these conversations, we're too focused on the other person and not focused enough on ourselves.
But what are you? Okay, so if you're, and I think the question that used to be asked all the time is a perfect question. Is, do we understand what the other person want from us? What do they like? So if you're out here working on yourself, but you want a guy, what does that guy want from you? Is anything that you're working on is what he wants?
I don't know. I haven't met this magical man. I can't answer that. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't have an answer to that question. Now, I can say some of the things that I've heard other women say on these YouTube platforms, that they're dedicating their entire lives to some man that never hasn't come yet or may never come. I mean, and conforming themselves to that. If that is the lifestyle and the life that that particular woman wants, then by all means, go
I
ourselves.
I don't understand what y'all actually mean by settling. You know, you not getting everything on your list, that means you're settling. I don't understand that. And I don't think men really,
I don't either.
I don't think really men think in terms of I'm being picked last. You know, I don't think that's how we approach it. You know, we don't really look at y'all when we're looking for a woman or going after a woman. We're not, and she agrees to be with us. We're not looking at it in terms of we're being settled for. We don't look. I don't think we really look at it that way.
Being settled for is if she don't really like you and she let you take her out to eat just
We
because
gotta
she's
shoot.
hungry.
We gotta shoot our shot. We are the optimists. We are the hunters. We gotta shoot our shot. And the thing about what men know, the one thing we do know about women is that, you know, a no or a not liking today doesn't mean that she's not gonna like me tomorrow.
That's very likely that she won't like you tomorrow.
But that's not been the majority of our experiences. You know, we will pursue until we wear you down. How many times have you heard that story?
But
Women,
that would imply that she has some sort of like or some sort of something, some sort of affection towards you. If she's completely not attracted to, I mean, a woman knows if she's going to have sex with you when you meet. You can't.
I dig that.
Like, that's. I mean, and again, I'm speaking for myself. I cannot speak for other people. If I don't see you like that, I don't see you like that, and I'm not going to entertain you in that way, because that's a very dangerous game that women play.
And it's played every day. It's being played right now over at freaking Nobu right now. Some dude over there spending his money for a chick that ain't got zero interest in him because he think he's going to get somebody. It is what it is.
Yeah, and it's part of the game. So I don't think we, you know, Uncle June, you can. I don't think we think like that we're being picked last or being settled for.
No, because care. I tell you right now, you can ask half. It's 1,400 people in this chat. Let's say half of our men. You have 700 men right now. If Beyonce left Jay-Z right now with their mind being second, most of them be like, nah, they jump right on in there. No,
Yeah.
no come up. It's a come up for him, but it's a
that's why he wouldn't mind being
position for her.
Well, we're all running behind somebody when we get with somebody.
Very
Come on
true.
now. We're all running behind somebody. Now it's the it just depends on how much you want to run behind, you know, but we all running behind somebody. We're not, you know, none of us are, most of us are not with the original person we first, you know, fell in love with or laid up with for the first time. No, almost none of us are with that person. So we're all, to me, we're, you know, maybe I'm a little bit wrong in this statement, a little bit off, but if you're not with the first person that you laid up with, that you fell in love with, then everything else after that is a settle.
But that settle was not my word. Settle is the word that's
the lady used.
That I didn't use the word. And the word settle has a negative connotation to it.
But,
and so if the question is, oh, you're gonna wait until you 65 and can't bear kids anymore, and you just gonna get with anybody that's left, that's
I'm just saying we're out here unattached, and I see it from a very different perspective as being a healthcare provider and being at the bedside. Joy, let me tell you something. Our women are in her age group and older. man, these women are coming into the hospital and they're coming in there and ain't nobody coming to see them. Ain't nobody coming to check on them. And they're, and a lot of time, and I hate to be like this in some healthcare facilities, if ain't nobody there to rattle a cage or to double check on something or ask a question, they're just left to the wolves. But let me tell you something. Our old brothers, even our unmarried old brothers, there's almost always somebody there.
Yeah, but men die before women do.
It's a niece, it's a daughter, it's a next door. It's our sisters are coming into these places, and I have a very protective spirit about when I'm, interacting with our older ladies and they're sick. I go through their charts. I make sure that they're getting what they're getting. I'll double back to make sure that the nurses have seen them. I mean, I'm very diligent about that when I'm there, because they're just not having anybody there. And I think our ladies are not really looking at, when you can't do for yourself, what happens when you can't do for yourself. And should you move out of fear? No. But at some point, if your goal is to have somebody, at what point do you just kind of operate like men do? We look around and see what we can get from the pool that's around us, and we go on about our life. How many times have you seen men with women that you go, really, that's what you with? They gone on with their life, or whatever's left of it. And I think our women are sitting up here holding up Black families hostage over something, over some list or some idea. And I tell people all the time, that man that's in your head, that sucker don't exist. Because that man that's in your head, he not going to piss you off. He know how to anticipate every move. He know how to hit you the way you want to be hit. He know all of that. You know what I mean? He know how to soothe your soul when you're sad. He know when your car is empty and gas and he ain't never been in it. That man in your head Jesus can't live up to that sucker. But a lot of our women will sit around with that idea and they'll sit there and say, well, there's somebody out here. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. So, and I'm just saying, at what point do we just, and our ladies are out here listening to women like her. She's 65 and still fairly attractive for a 65-year-old woman. She talked about her education and her good job. She's a judge. Who cares? When you start talking about the man to female relationship, none of that really matters. And now, because I did a little research, she's in Houston. She's running for office in Houston. She's actively running after that. But on her TikTok, she's talking about, I want a husband. I want a husband, but I don't think I want to settle. And then other women of our generations and below are looking at this and going, and y'all looking at her economic outcome as if that's a predictor of your relational outcome. It's not for a lot of women. Yeah,
totally different things.
Those are totally different things. So yeah, my question is, my original statement, are you guys holding us hostage? Are you guys terrorists to this settling thing?
No.
All right, Kendra, go ahead and see if this works.
Yeah, okay. Is this better?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. What I was going to say earlier is I think that in general, people go into relationships the wrong way. In general, we do. That's, we go into relationships, we meet someone, we like how they look, we like the money that they make. Those things are not going to make a relationship successful. So you have to go into a relationship in time. You wait, you build a foundation. And once you build a foundation, then you determine what I don't think you go into it and look at it from a standpoint of settling. You go into it from a standpoint of, I know this person and I love this person for who they are, because that's what makes a relationship last, not how much money someone makes. Somebody can make $100,000 today and make nothing tomorrow. So if you're building and choosing your mate based upon what they make, or if that's what you're quote unquote settling for, then you're going into a relationship for the wrong reason in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but that's what's out here. You know, there's a lot of emphasis, and I'm not saying economics is not important. It's absolutely important, but at some point, to what end? What is it? What is all this upward mobility getting you? What are we here for? You know, I don't want to be like cliche, like what's the purpose of life, but what are you here for? And we're all sitting around here, a bunch of Black folk now, is single, unattached, and for what? And doing what? And I had a stream about this maybe about a month or so ago, and I specifically talked about this country. Black folk make up, was it $2 trillion? Like 10% of the country's money comes out of Black America. There is a whole incentive for us to be single. Joy got a house, TJ got a house. That's, you know, I'm just throwing out numbers. $500,000 of that somebody else got off of us. We got 4 cars, 2 sets of insurances, 2 light bills, 2 grocery bills, 2 sets of everything. There's big money in us not being together. And we sit around here with some of this nonsense like, yeah, I'm not ever saying that some woman should take something that is going to make her miserable. No, I am not ever saying that. I will never ask anyone to do that. But there's got to be some happy medium between the dude that's in your head versus, you know, downright miserable. And when you start looking at our women with children and you start looking at their kid's father, and that joker don't match nothing on the spectrum.
Just like the women don't.
There's a difference in the outcome. There's a huge difference in the outcome of women with kids and men with kids.
There is a huge difference in the outcome. I'm gonna start wrapping up, but I got a couple guys in the back. Kendra, I'm gonna drop you down. Uncle Joe, I'm gonna drop you down, and I'm gonna let these guys kind of get the last word. Hold on a second. Mr. Elemental, I'm sorry to keep you back there for so long, my brother. Mr. Hezekiah, sorry to keep you back there. What do you guys have to add to the conversation? I know we've been going for a while. I had you guys back there for a while.
There are so many interesting perspectives that you brought up.
Right.
Peace to the queens who came through to share their insight. Peace to the kings who came in. Listen, there are so many things. I mean, really, between the struggle with masculinity, between the education disparity, between knowing what you want before you come into a relationship, and then there's, you know, what you were expecting from a relationship that you have no idea of how it's going to pan out, especially when you don't have any template to work off of, right? Most of us are going off of something that we have seen depicted on television that is not real life, right? Most of our parents and grandparents were the last generation of families that stayed together for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, had 10 and 12 children, right? That type of connection, that type of love, it doesn't really exist anymore. I'm not saying love doesn't exist. I'm saying that particular type that we are hoping to say is the traditional family role or structure, that doesn't exist anymore because we are so far removed from why that was created in the first place.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Hezekiah, I had to mute you for a second because of
you good. I know I was moving in my seat.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was man, this was a great show tonight. I like to see from a lady's point of view too, thinking about relationships and the part about settling part, you know. And you know, for us men, it's we settle too. You know, we settle in relationships too, but today it's like it's so much out there, so much pressure. It's like the lady, like that judge said, she's 65. One day she settled, one day she don't want to be settled. You know, it's just so hard. And then when you don't add God into the equation, that makes it even more harder. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, God was that crutch you had to lean on. Now God ain't even in the relationship. It's all about what can you do for me lately. If you can't do it, I can get the next one to do it, and I'm gonna keep both of y'all hanging on. You see what I'm saying? So now God in the equation to have that equal balance and that yokeness that they talking about is it's so hard. And I stress it a whole lot. And I see it at the job, at work, and how the females and the men interact with each other. It's always about they want that instant gratification. And they look at me, they're like, why you not? They look at me like, why I'm not like them? Because I've been there. I've did that. I've had my fun and playtime. And all that does is leave you with more hurt, more confusion about who you want to be with or what you want to be out of life. And until you decide that you want to set the foundation and you set boundaries for yourself and you love yourself, then maybe you can decide on if and how you can build a relationship with someone else. But until you love yourself, you can't love nobody else. So all we just doing is selling for somebody that we might think is our mama type, or we think somebody might be our daddy type. And that's not really what we really want. But we just selling for that because that's all we know.
I mean, but think about it though, brother. How many times have you heard a woman say, "Oh, girl, get with a man that loves his mama or treats his mama good because that's how he's going to treat you"?
Not true. That's the mama's boy right there.
Okay.
That's the mama's boy right there. He gonna whine. He gonna sound just like you. He gonna be in the mirror more than you is. Because my mama told me I look good. You know.
Oh, Lord.
It's funny though because that's how it is. Like when I was born up, man, my daddy was rough. Man, we out there we playing. My mom ain't coming out there playing no basketball. You get hit in the head with the elbows and stuff. We had to be tough. Bloody nose, and mama would sit right there, wouldn't say nothing. You know what I'm like? You ain't gonna say how he hit me hard or how he's hurting. No, because she knew that he was doing a man's thing. That's how a man makes a son tougher. And
in those times, though, masculinity was carved out in a very specific way, and it's not so much today, right? There is a blur.
And through the cartoons, even the cartoons today are different than what they was back then. We had He-Man, Voltron, Thundercats, all these type of masculinity shows. You see what I mean, though?
No, because the gender roles were very specific, right? Because they fed into the traditional family structure, that they felt was the nuclear way to continue the American dream, right? 2 kids.
So what is the non-traditional now?
It needed to go that way, and once it started changing. Now we're getting into the issue that we're dealing with where families don't look like they're supposed to look.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it right there. Just hang back for a second. You too, Miss Kendra. Joy. We are here at the end, okay? Listen, I want to do me a favor. Usually right after the stream, we do like a 10-minute like recap of what we didn't like about the stream. So if you can stick around for that, that'll be kind of cool.
That's fine.
All right, guys, listen. I listened to a guy on Sirius XM named Joe Madison, the Black Eagle. He's a long-term radio host, but an even longer social activist. And he have most of the times on this show, he talks a lot of political stuff. He has, it's a caller-driven show. And when they're discussing issues and topics and things that need to be taken care of, at the end of almost every call with almost every caller, he asks them, so now that we didn't talked about it, what are you going to do about it? That is going to become our new motto over here on the Real Bravado Network. It's always fun to have the conversations about relationships and what men are doing and what they're not doing and where our women are and there's a plethora of people making a lot of money off of the fact that we are not together. This is a travesty for our culture as a whole. And the reasoning for it happening is so there are so many, the issue is so complex as to why we're there. There's so many different variables from the self-sabotaging to the institutional interference, from you just name it. We have a lot of issues, even from an emotional, psychological standpoint. We have a lot of issues that keep us apart. But that does not mean we don't get to ask the question when we're taking on these things, these issues one at a time. It doesn't mean that we do not ask the question at the end of a conversation, what are you going to do about it?
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before, ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all the spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. From my